It's week 2 of living on the streets. We're fucking destitute, we're making money, things are good. But this video, we're gonna cover how the solar system works in the truck. If anybody gives a fuck, I don't think anybody does, but we're still gonna cover that. And then we're gonna cook some more stuff in the park. Got a little twist for you, something a little crazy, something unexpected from a homeless man such as myself. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the store right now. This is the first time I'm gonna stock up on anything. The refrigerator's running good. It's at 32 degrees. It just has nothing in it. So we're gonna go fill that up. Maybe fill up the pantry a little bit, who knows? So basically, you just bring the shopping cart up right to the back. No need for a bag. What do you know? Incredible. You can even turn the lights on if you so choose. Yep, I'm a milk drinker. Maybe this will fit here. Nope, that's where the olives live. And I think the eggs, yep, the eggs live there too. Yeah, it's all we got for the refrigerator, but that's enough for now. This is more of like a test run, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, to be honest with you. But all I know is we got some protein and some drinks, I guess. Could be worse. So before we go on to the next function, I'm gonna have a taste. I'm gonna have a little taste in the back of the truck at the store. Amen. That's incredible. So I think, cue the train. Fuck it. So I think we're actually just gonna lay low in the truck for a little bit and then like get some dinner from somewhere. But I want to come up with some ideas, like designs in terms of like 3D printing, just on the canvas here that we have, things that'll benefit me. I don't know. I feel like I could make a mount for some shoes, or maybe put them there. I don't want a ton of clutter in this place. Tastefully, I think we're gonna add on to this. Yeah, I'm just gonna lay here and chill and just come up with ideas and catch up with emails and stuff. So tomorrow though, we're gonna go out to the park, round 2, and we're gonna fucking blow the last one out of the water. All right, so I've been hanging out. We got a nice steady stream of cool air coming through here. We've got the dinner table set. We've got some spicy chicken of some sort, and then some white rice and some water. And we're just gonna inhale all that and then probably go drive a little somewhere and then pass out. So I'm off to bed. I just went and drove to some random neighborhood. So I'm just camping out. We're just hanging out in the neighborhood. Just a friendly guy. So basically, I recorded a couple weeks ago, just me going around explaining the solar charging system on this truck. So while I sleep, you guys can just watch that and have a lot of fun. So peace be with you. Let's do an overview of the solar charging system on this truck. Don't be fooled. It is actually pretty fucking simple, but I don't know. I think people like to overcomplicate electronics and make it seem all complex or whatever. We're gonna briefly just go through how it works, and I know for a fact you'll understand how it works at the end of this like 45-second segment. So first off, we get power from the solar panels. There's literally 2 wires that come in here and provide just a voltage across this system, and then that gives you a current, and then the current is supposed to charge that battery there. In order to do so, we have to like stabilize the current because the sun's hitting it, and it's giving it kind of like a current that's varying. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, but we need like a constant current, so that's what this does. It just stabilizes that, and then it sends it to the battery. Along the way, we've got a circuit breaker in case anything goes wrong. That's pretty much it for the charge controller. Now, moving along the system, these bus bars get power directly from the battery. So these 2 wires connect to each one respectively. This one is just fused right here, and then this one just goes right in. This fuse block gets power from these bus bars. So there's a black wire and a red wire, and that gives this thing power, and then this thing gives all the appliances power. So we've got, let me pop this off. So we've got fan, we've got lights, and we've got a refrigerator. That's it. These 2 incoming wires, they power the appliances. And then you've got fuses that protect those appliances. These wires just literally go to those respective appliances and provide it power. Simple as that. Moving on. These bus bars are just bars where you can just pull a negative from or a positive from. Instead of having like a rat nest, say, hey, I need a negative wire, we'll just steal it from right here. Hey, I need a positive one, we'll just steal it from right here. So if ever you need any of those, that's what you do, and that's what these are for. And then lastly, we've got the inverter. And so briefly to explain what this does, it just takes a direct current and converts it to an alternating current. So in your house, you have an alternating current. If you looked inside of the wire, the electricity would just be moving like back and forth. That's what alternating current kind of is in a nutshell. Appliances in your house house run off that method of electricity. So that's what this does. It converts it for your appliances in your house to be used here. Direct current is, you know, just power coming from a battery. Like if you looked inside of the wire, you just see electricity flowing from point A to B like so. And so that's just direct current. All three of these things run off of that, and that's fine. That works great. But if ever you want to use a blender or a coffee maker, you can plug into this. There's an actual outlet around the other side, plug it in like a normal house, and you can turn this on and off. So if it's not in use, you keep it off. If you want it on, just flip the switch. That's how this whole system works. It's pretty damn simple. We'll look at the diagram that I drew up so you can see like a more laid out blueprint of how the things are connected. Anyhow, we'll take a look at this up close. Here is the wiring diagram up close. Now, I built this whole thing and designed it on a piece of paper first. Basically, there's a few components you want to size first and then build your system around those. Basically, we realized we need a 200 amp hour battery bank, but how did we come up with that? Long story short, I did like the long-winded method of seeing first off what appliances you're going to use. So this is what I thought that I would use in any given day. Basically, you can calculate the power consumption for all of those. And so ultimately, I think we said it's about 92 amp hours, so 1100 watts. You want to multiply that by 2, so you have basically 2 days of power. Once again, long story short, we figured out we need like a 30 amp charge controller should be sufficient. So that's how we came up with the size for the battery bank and the charge controller. And then this inverter, that is a little bit arbitrary, but basically if we're plugging in like a fucking table saw or something to this inverter, we're going to need a bigger inverter. 1000 watts not really going to cut it. The most I'm ever going to use is probably like a rice cooker, and 1000 watts is sufficient for that. But this is the whole system just on a piece of paper. Here are the lights. We've got the switch here just for the lights themselves with a dimmer. Refrigerator right here. We've got the fan. So I placed everything roughly where it was actually going to be in the truck. I basically knew how this thing was going to work and how it was going to function before I even built it. So that's the overview of the whole wiring system. That's how I did it, and I hope that explains it. All right, I know nobody wants to hear any more about the fucking wires. I get it. We're done with that. That segment's over. This segment starts. Now we're at the park again, and we're gonna do something kind of crazy. We're gonna go whip up some Ratatouille, homeless style, Pixar style, just like in the movie. We're gonna cook some lamb with that, little rack of lamb, no big deal. And we're gonna have a nice little dinner. All right, so here's the setup that we got going on. Got the Coleman here, and then we got a plethora of fresh vegetables, all organic, rack of lamb. Over here on the Coleman, we're gonna run the 2-burner setup, and we're gonna whip up a meal. So let's get started. All right, let's get going in the pan. We'll get some olive oil going. I found my neighbor dead. He had been rotting for like 5 days. No bullshit, this is a true story. But anyways, he loved cooking. His name was Daryl. He went to Paris, France to learn how to cook at some fancy school or whatever. They said, Daryl, we're not cooking the spoon. He brought that sentiment home, and I'll never forget it. And may he rest in peace, Uncle Daryl. Get the bell peppers going in. All right, the time is now. So let's reduce this down a bit, put the lid on for a while. Which way? This way? Let's do this way. All right, back over to this station. We're gonna get the vegetables ready. So there we have it. That's like the foundation, or I guess the sauce is the foundation, but this is like what goes on top of the sauce. That's all the layered shit. Sauce is almost done. And then we will assemble this whole thing and then cover it in foil, slow cook that. While we do that, we'll cook the lamb, and then we'll have a feast. So this is what we got, nice little rustic sauce. And so now it's time to assemble the ratatouille. So that'll be our bed for the ratatouille. Basically, yeah, it's time to assemble that. So that's our first little medallion. We'll just keep it that pattern. So yeah, let's run it all the way around. There's just people like walking around, walking their dogs. And then there's just some idiot over here making ratatouille. It's funny, I'm not gonna lie. Well, here we have it. Ratatouille Pixar style. So let's dress it, put a little parsley on the top, some olive oil, some salt, some pepper. We'll cover it in foil and then we'll cook it on low for probably like a half hour. Finish with a little parsley. Let's get this rack of lamb going now. With the pan smoking hot. Get a nice sear on that. We are not fucking around here, that's for sure. Winds are getting a little choppy, but the ratatouille's been cooking away for about 30 minutes. All right, it's coming along. Probably maybe got 10 more minutes on both of these. Just slow cooking the lamb as well as the ratatouille. Let's take a peek. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, gonna need some more time for sure. Well, here we have it. Rack of lamb and ratatouille. God damn, it looks good. So let's plate it and put it together. Let's see how all this tastes. It's pretty fucking good. It's incredible. Jesus H. Take a little bite of this. God damn. I'm living pretty good these days. Oh, fuck. Somehow after slaving away, this is still like the best part. So that hit the spot. I really don't think we could ever top this meal in the park again, but that's okay. There's more to life than eating random shit in the park. So I'm gonna clean this up and then we're gonna have a little chat. So life as a homeless engineer, how's that been going? For one, I feel very fortunate, very lucky, but also I feel like I've got a good situation going on. It's not permanent. This is definitely temporary. I don't know. How did I end up here? Well, basically, I went to school first through 8th grade, very troubled kid. Once I got to age 12-ish, I got suspended, I got expelled. Then I went to another school, didn't fit in, and then eventually went homeschool. And then I somehow passed 8th grade. I don't know how. Me and my mom, we would go into like the teacher that would have to like okay all my homework and assignments. And my mom and I would go in and just be like, all right, let's try to get through this. My mom was on my side. She wanted me to pass, of course. And I don't know, somehow I did. A miracle. So I made it to high school. And I was a horrible student because I was just jaded from middle school, the end of middle school. I was just super jaded, didn't give a fuck at all. And I was an ag kid. I actually did like that. So they taught us welding and like hands-on stuff, and I really liked that. I did wood shop, but all the other stuff like math and English, totally failed all that. I looked at my transcripts recently and I think I had like a 2.3 overall, just horrible. I don't know, somehow I made it to senior year of high school, and I had my best friend at the time, still my best friend now, Tyler, shout out to Tyler, and my ex-girlfriend, her name was Summer. So it was the two of them. They were trying to help me just graduate. They bullshitted all my homework assignments for me, like right at the end, and shout out to both of them. They helped me pass high school. So I passed high school. I was dead set on never going to college. I hated school. First thing I did was I worked in a restaurant. I was a busboy and I worked my way up. I was like waiting tables, and then one of the cooks in the kitchen quit just abruptly. And growing up, my dad always made me cook with him, and I did take like cooking classes at high school. Another one of the few classes I actually enjoyed. And so when that cook quit, I just told the boss, I was like, hey, like I'll do it. I will do it. I think he believed in me because he told me, okay, come in the next day, like come in tomorrow. And so I showed up, and this guy's name is John Franco. He's a short Italian dude, very stern, very strict. He taught me all his recipes and all his methods for cooking Northern Italian food. That's kind of where my skills came from. I wouldn't say I have skills, but I can cook. So I was cooking for 2 years before I realized that this is just like disgusting work. Like it's fun and you learn a lot, but after a certain amount of time, it's downhill. You're not gonna progress. There's no money to actually be made. So my cooking career ended abruptly. I decided to go learn how to build homes made out of dirt, because I've always just been thinking outside of the box, and it's very fitting that I'm homeless in the park right now, just shirtless, living alternatively. And I've always been that way. I've always thought outside of the box. So I went down south, Southern California, Hesperia, and I learned how to build like houses made out of dirt. And then I was building those for people and for myself. And I built my brother like a tea house, and I saw myself doing that. And that was gonna be my thing. I was gonna make money doing that. But in terms of permitting and doing everything legit, when you're naive and young, you think it's all gonna work out, but you realize you have to find some way to actually make money. I also got kind of picked up by a family friend of mine. His name is Jeff, so shout out to Jeff. I think he's probably watching these videos. He saw my potential, just saw I was really good with my hands, and he said, hey, why don't you be an electrician with me? So I started working with him, and then he basically put me on to another electrician who was doing a lot bigger projects and stuff. So I was working with his friend for a while. Ultimately, Jeff's friend asked me if I would be his like apprentice electrician and stick with him. And he said if there's any point in time where I'm just not feeling it, then to let him know. And I think after like a year, I let him know that I wasn't feeling it. I don't know, at that time I had a few people telling me I should try college. So I did. I gave it my very best shot. I took English, I took geography, just all the basics, and I got a C in math. This was like pre-algebra. This is a class they do not teach at college anymore because it's so low. It's like expected of you to actually already know that. So I took that one class. It was called Math D. I wasn't even gonna show up to the final. I just was going through a lot of shit. My dad was really sick. And I don't know, I showed up. I don't know why. And I passed. I passed the class with like a 69.8%. They just bumped it up to like a 70. After some reflection on that, I don't know, whenever I'm bad at something, it pisses me off. So I was like, all right, I need to step it up with math. I took a summer math class and I was driving like an hour each way. So it was like 2 hours total, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. This was like the following semester. In the summer, this was college algebra. This was some real shit. And I met a math professor there. His name was Mike Watterson. Changed my life. This dude would do math and just cuss. And I identified with that. I was like, what the fuck? I could do that. I always saw teachers and academia as this whole professional thing, and I just always hated that. It's a bunch of people being fake, basically. But I saw this guy, his name was Mike, like I just said, and he would be like, Sonny, take those numbers and plug that shit in right there. I just instantly was like, damn, I think college is kind of cool now. And so I wanted to be a math major for a little bit because I was taking all his classes. I took college algebra, and then I took trigonometry. I got an A, and then I took Calc 1 with him as well and got an A. And then I took Calc 2 and 3, and then differential equations, and then linear algebra, which is actually really hard. It sounds easy because it's like algebra, but linear algebra is one of the highest math classes in lower division math. So anyhow, so I took all these classes, and eventually, I don't know, I'm an engineer now. It's kind of crazy, but that's where I started from. And it's just funny that one math class I was not going to show up for in terms of the final. If I didn't show up, I would not be here today. I don't know what it was. I showed up and I don't know, I like turned it around. I never got a C ever again. I just got A's and B's my whole college career after that. It was hell. I went to community college for maybe 3 years during COVID. Then I transferred to Davis right as COVID was done. All in-person classes. I took extremely hard classes. They were very fast paced. You've got like the top 1% of people in the state. You're comparing yourself to them, and everybody's really smart, and I'm just some fuck up that like barely passed high school. I don't know, it's just funny. You can turn it around is all I'm saying. I wasn't a bad kid. I always had ambition. I always had a drive. That's like my saving grace, really. And my work ethic is unparalleled. I feel like it's better than anybody's that I know. But I'm not super smart. Literally just work ethic, and then if you have that, then you kind of do get smart because you're always trying to learn. You're actively trying to soak up every little bit of information. If you have a good work ethic, you do become smart eventually. At least that's my take. I wouldn't say I'm smart now, but pretty competent. So that's my story. That's kind of how my life went. And I'm 27 now. So now I'm just saving up money, just thinking about my next move in life. That's about it in terms of my story. Thanks for watching the video. Next week, I don't know what we're doing. No more cooking in the park for a little while. I gotta lay low, but we'll be back. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it.